I did want to ask you, Steve. Uh, Spurs rejected again. um,
I said it the other week, man, about Tottenham. It's fucking draining even talking about Tottenham, innit?
Crazy. The funniest bit about this, the video's been deleted now by Football Daily. But I was on the phone to KJ earlier on today. We're just planning tonight's show and guests and stuff for top 6 tomorrow. And the news came out about the rejection. And I said, you know what's going to happen though in the next hour? All the Spurs press are going to say, actually, Spurs walked away. It was too much money, or they couldn't get the job done. Guess what happened within an hour?
Same.
It's too much. It's too much money. And the way this is what's crazy. According to the Spurs press, who too many Spurs fans believe, they've now walked away from their main 4 targets as managers. They walked away from Poch. They walked away from Luis Enrique. They walked away from Nagelsmann, and they walked away from Arne Slot. They genuinely are a joke. They're genuinely.
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest. If I'm Daniel leaving me, yeah, I go to Brighton and I get that De Zerbi, no matter what it costs. I get him now. Go in, get him out of that contract at Brighton, offer him whatever he wants. Spurs are on last chance saloon with Harry Kane, Son, the club, the top 6, big 6. Now you put Spurs in, they're on last chance saloon. Newcastle on their ass. They've got one more chance at this to get this right. I go there, I knock on his door, I say to Brighton how much compensation's in his contract. There you go, and I offer him a massive deal, and I get him at Spurs because he's a very clever manager. He's very energetic. He's look at that Brighton team. He get a tune. He's a manager that will get a tune out of an average team because he's a winner and he's very vocal and he's very energetic and he has the players. They run through brick walls for him. They pressed Man City last night. I know we didn't have Ruben Diaz at the back and they pressed us a bit and he caused us quite a bit of shit.
Yeah.
I just think that's the only option for me. If Tottenham don't go and get him, somebody else is getting him. And I think he's one of the best about.
I think he's class. What he has achieved with Brighton is nothing short of sensational. It's sensational. And another argument.
Brighton are a better run club. They're a better prospect for him at the minute. They're looking absolutely fantastic. He's got him there's no pressure on him, right? Does he want to jump out of that right into a fucking cauldron at Tottenham? And that is what they've created at Tottenham on and off the pitch. The chairman's hard work to deal with. The board are hard work to deal with. The fans are now hard work because they've been sold a dream that's never coming true. So it's not an attractive proposition at Tottenham now as a football club. Whether Tottenham fans want to hear that or not, whether they want to call me all the names under the sun, I'm telling you the truth. Tottenham is not a place for up-and-coming managers now to go unless you're absolutely paying them fortunes. And that is the position they've got themselves in.
He'll reject Tottenham as it stands right now. What you just said about Brighton, they are, for me, I've said this for about 2-3 years now, pound for pound, the best run club in England. You're a better run club, but you have a lot more resource than them. And I mean that with absolute respect. I've had this argument on other straight fact shows recently where legitimately it honestly makes me want to laugh. It was with Lee, to be fair, and I'm only saying it because it's topical. But he hates Brighton. He hates them. He thinks that they're not that good. Why are we celebrating them? Because they're not winning the league. Unless you're winning the league, it's failure. It's like, mate, they turn over about 174 million pounds a year. 2 years ago, they were investing so much money, they were making 50 to 60 million pounds a year losses. They've just made profit of 24 million in their last financial year. Their turnover a year is on average 20 million less than Man City and Man United spend per summer on players. Their turnover, let alone like what they can afford to spend on players. Pound for pound, what they are achieving, coming 6th, getting into the Europa, is nothing short of sensational. Now, they're in the Europa. They're slowly going to, if they keep doing this and they maintain this, they'll keep growing their income. They'll grow their revenues. They'll grow the size of their fan base. But it's going to take time. You can't go from where Brighton were a decade, 15 years ago, to competing with Man City, Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid, either in competitions consistently or in the transfer market. But what they've done is sensational. And De Zerbi, he has taken a team that were very good under Graham Potter, and he has turned them into a very dangerous outfit. And he's doing it with all due respect, with a number of kids that nobody's heard of. Back to Mark Goldbridge's point earlier about better scouting. Man United do need to improve their scouts 100%, and other teams, are probably in that same boat. But what he's doing with the Encisos of this world, £4 million for Caicedo, Matoma that nobody have heard of, absolutely out of this world. But equally, what he's done with the likes of Dunk, what he has done with Steele in goal, what he's done with Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck, if Danny Welbeck was playing like this at Man United, he'd still be at Man United. He looks great. And this guy is amazing. But the advice I'd give De Zerbi, if you're listening, mate, is stay so far away from Tottenham or any poorly run club as you can. And I think a lot of managers are, Steve. And I'm not digging Spurs out to like banter their fans. I'm speaking real. This happened 2 summers ago where you ended up with Nuno, because he was the 14th choice. It's happening again this summer where your first, second, and third, fourth, fifth choice have all said no or joined other teams. Now, I got stick on the 2nd of April when I said Rodgers to Spurs is on. And a few journalists told me that Spurs are interested, but he's not a priority. So I do the deal is on thing. It's just a little bit of fun for me on social media. On just means it can happen. It might not, but it can. The pelters I got from Tottenham fans, some of them, I've saved so many of them. No way would we drop to that level. No way would we go to him. It will be a star. Who's left? Like, you're right. Go get De Zerbi. He ain't going to go there. Slot said no. Legitimate, when you start looking at it now, who's left? Enrique, they were looking at. PSG now want him. He ain't going to turn down PSG for Tottenham.
The thing is with Holland, the league standard in Holland is nowhere near the Premier League. So with Ten Hag, you could see with Ten Hag, he was doing it in the Champions League as well. So you can sort of see he was getting it. Feyenoord, watch Feyenoord in the Champions League next year under Slot. Watch them. Be nowhere. And it's a big risk, man. It's a big risk. You can't risk it. The Slot, and if he's turning down Tottenham, no disrespect, but then you've got a problem, innit? Because nobody from Holland should be turning down a Premier League club. No disrespect. It's not a top 6 Premier League club.
Well, but I think it's because he realizes it's a poison chalice. Now, Spurs,
yeah, well, that's what it is. Exactly what it is. Yeah,
it is. And I think Spurs are putting out this story of, well, he wanted 15 million a year or 13 million a year, and it was too much money. But it isn't if he's your main target, is it? And I don't think he was asking for that much, personally, because he won't get 1/3 of that in the Eredivisie. He's not going to get it. So why would he turn down even half of what, 7-8 million a year? He's not getting that over there. I think he said no to Tottenham because he's like, you know what? This ain't right. And Conte said no originally and should never have changed his mind. They are by the way, and I'm speaking from experience here, they are a poor-run football club, just as Man United are. The only difference between Man United and Tottenham is we waste more money have wasted more money in the transfer market in the last decade than they have. That's the only real difference. They do what we do on a smaller budget. So you end up in an even worse position. And when Harry Kane leaves, if they don't get it right, they are going to fall off. Forget top 6, big 6. You're talking maybe not top bloody half. They could fall off massively. They really could as a football club. They're in absolute bits. Getting rejected by Slot. We just spoke about finding players that you don't recognize. I didn't really know who he was until he was linked to Tottenham. I don't watch the Dutch league. Like, I wasn't aware of who this guy was. I thought it was a spelling mistake when I saw his name.
You need to make a stand on your channel, on your show, the top 6, whatever it show is, and get rid of fucking Tottenham and put Newcastle in it, because that's going to happen. So you might as well do that now. Be the first to do it, because someone's going to do it. Someone's going to do it, and everyone will follow. Be the first. Bro, don't create a Magnificent 7 show, because that's a coward's way out. Tell the Tottenham fan to get his chicken and fuck off, because the big Arab Geordie's turning up. That's what I'd say. That's what I'd say.
The magpies pecking at the chickens, you know.
Exactly.
We've already added
nothing to answer for. Now he's gone, man.
We've already added Pete. Pete Davey, who's a member of the Toon Army. So we've already added a Newcastle fan to the show. So he's been on there, and there we go.
They deserve it, man. They deserve it. They got to be in there, man.
Of course they have, and their summer's going to be interesting as well, because they're looking to there's a lot. They've got the new shirt sponsor coming from a company that everyone got outraged by yesterday. It took 5 minutes of research to prove it's a real company. They're looking at
some website though.
No, well, it's being redeveloped.
Under construction.
Yeah, but
that's convenient. That's convenient, isn't it, when you get announced as a main sponsor somewhere?
But they've got 1,100 employees. They've got 1,100.
Do you know what I always thought about? Right.
Go on.
Right. if I bought a non-league club, say if I bought, I don't know, Chorley Town, yeah, and I've sat there and I thought, right, we need investment, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is look through my phone at business people I've dealt with in my life and send them a message and say, hiya mate, it's Steve. You used to deal with me then. I've just took over at Chorley Football Club. Does your company want to sponsor me? Is that a reasonable thing to say? If you had a business, you contact your friends, don't you?
Absolutely.
So Sheikh Mansour, brother, who owns Etihad Airways, is not allowed to sponsor his brother's team because apparently it's not a fair value. Even though we're the champions of England, even though we're getting into later stages of Champions League and winning trophies, apparently he's not allowed to get his brother to invest in his team. Even though if my brother owned the champions and I wanted my business putting out there in the world, I'd do that. So, Newcastle are doing the same. Mike Ashley sponsored his team with his own company, Sports Direct. The stand was full of it. You got one of them daft fucking big mugs every time you bought something in the souvenir shop. He was milking it, but nobody said anything because it's Arab money. It's not allowed. People don't like it. You know what I mean? It's the truth, whether you like it or not.
Well, Man United might have Qatari soon, so we'll see it happening there as well. There's no doubt. But Newcastle,
you will have a Qatari sponsor because they want to promote their country, so they want to promote tourism and they want to promote their airlines, and that is what will happen. Emirates Airlines on the shirts of Real Madrid. They're on Arsenal. They're on a few other teams, and they don't get called out for it.
That's my favourite thing all season was seeing Arsenal fans that had no to oil money as a banner in their crowd.
Exactly.
In the Emirates Stadium. It made me die. It made me absolutely die. We've got some super chats here. First one says, Terry, Chelsea have no DM profile in their squad. So why are you forcing negativity for us trying to sign one? That's very weird. How do you force hate on us? I mean, DJ, I don't force hate on anybody. I'm not forcing any hate. I'm simply stating, and I know you want to improve the squad, but you've got to resolve who's staying and who's going first before adding more people to the squad. You don't want to have a bloated squad going into next season. It's massively important. And if that means you miss out on somebody short term, so be it. But you simply have to remove some of these individuals, my friend. No top manager will go to Spurs whilst Levy is there. I agree with you. I agree with you. Shombe here says Spurs will end up with Lampard. How about that? I mean, if that happened, no, that won't happen. It will be, honestly, they'll end up with Rodgers or Potter. Do you know what really wound me up last week? And with Spurs fans in my comments telling me that they were too big and too big a club for Thomas Frank to come and manage.
No.
I couldn't understand it.
Another guy, though, why would he leave Brentford for Spurs now? Unless it's money. I think Tottenham, Daniel Levy's hard work. I think the Mourinho, if Jose Mourinho and Conte can go to Tottenham and not get a tune out of that players, and they're both talking toxic about the club and the structure, you got a problem because they've managed big clubs in the world and they've dealt with difficult chairmen before, but it's obviously bad there. It's just.
Have you seen what Jose said today
about the cup final and that?
Yeah. I was going to play this. I was going to play this video to the viewers here. Let's take a listen to this.
Tottenham fans, don't get me wrong, but the only club in my career where I don't have still a deep feeling is Tottenham. Probably because the stadium was empty, COVID time. Probably because Mr. Levy didn't let me win a final and win a trophy. But he's the only one. So after that, Porto, Chelsea, Inter, Real Madrid, Manchester United, all the clubs, I feel connection. Maybe people, you cannot love every club. Yes, I love every club. I love every club because I always felt the other way around. They also love me. So with Roma, one day will be hard. One day will be hard, but we will be connected forever, like I am with all my previous clubs. a part of Mr. Levy club. The reality is that.
Like, I mean, it's harsh, but it's his truth. He still loves Man United, loves Chelsea, loves Real Madrid. He won trophies there. He created history there. Saying that about Tottenham, I get it. I get it. I get it. It is. I mean, to be a Spurs fan right now, you know, we're all sitting there talking about, will this deal happen? Will that go through? Spurs fans, they can't even get a manager, and they're being rejected by people from the Eredivisie. It's deep.